Hey everybody, I think I'm on about a minute before we get started here on the Game Changer Bootcamp. Just gonna wait to see once everyone hops on. Hey, good morning. Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Bree. Hey, Mary Grace. I'm glad it's working. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if this is working right. So I'm gonna wait probably another minute. My iPhone says it's 9:59. We'll get started on time. All right, well, it's 10 o'clock, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. I am Marianne Navarro Davis. I am an independent consultant and one of the newest regional vice president in Strong Nation. I am so stoked to be here today and talk to you about my journey. So if you haven't already heard me speak, I'm kind of crazy and I'm very, very passionate about what I do. And so just kind of hold on tight, okay? Because I kind of get carried away, get passionate, and I'll just be talking your ear off. So anyway, before I get started, I wanted to just kind of like introduce, a little bit about me. So I was born and raised in Manila, Philippines. So my ethnicity is I'm half Filipino, half Spanish. My grandfather is actually from Spain. And then I have a little bit of I think Chinese, according to my mom. Never really met my father, my real father, but my dad that I call dad since I've been born is Filipino, and he was actually the reason why I am here in America. So when I was growing up as a little kid, my mom was a single mom, and he met my dad, my stepfather that I call my dad now. They were together for a while, and then my father, my dad, actually went to the United States, and we waited for at least 16 years of my life before we actually got here. We got petitioned, to come to America, and that's how my journey here in America started, right? So I graduated when I was 16 years old in the Philippines, and then my first step to the American soil was actually in Kodiak, Alaska. I know Bree knows where that is because she's in Anchorage, Alaska right now. And I was like, well, what the heck? I'm like, this is America? I can't deal. I'm like, no way. Take me back to the Philippines, right? Because it was nothing out there. Kodiak is like a very, very remote island, and there was nothing out there. So I'm just like, yeah. All that stuff that I saw on TV was not really real. I was like in no man's land. So I suck. Basically I stayed around, right? I didn't go back, but I did beg my parents to take me back, but they're like, no, you're staying here. So after that, it's just like, okay, what do I do? So my first job in America was like McDonald's, right? Everybody worked at some type of fast food. So, and I'm like, and I was probably the best freaking drive-through person they've ever had. I would ask if you want to supersize your meal. I'll ask if you want some dips, extra stuff, right? Trying to just get your money. And I really had a great time working at McDonald's. And how I got introduced to the Air Force is one of my girlfriends that worked at McDonald's just basically asked me, hey, you want to go in the military? I'm like, what the hell is that, right? I'm like, what's the military? And I'm like, Air Force. I'm like, I don't know what that is, because all I know is like, okay, I'm ready to work. And I actually applied at the post office there, and I got accepted. But little did I know that my Filipino education, right? Because I graduated when I was 16 from high school, and they would not take it here in America. So they gave me an option to like, hey, you know what? You got to start over, or you can take this GED, right? And I'm like, GED, what the heck is that? So I'm like, well, I don't want to start over, so I'll just take the GED. So yeah, you're actually looking at a person who went in the military that just had a GED diploma. Even though I finished high school in a different country, they would not accept it, but I gladly embraced that, right? And then that's what actually got me in the military with my GED diploma. So fast forward, I served in the military for 23 years. I just recently retired one September. I am so blessed that that journey went by so fast for me. Air Force has been a true blessing to me. I mean, there's ups and downs, roller coaster rides, and all that type of stuff. But essentially, looking at the whole big picture, the Air Force has been such a huge blessing to me. And I cannot complain. Even though like my retirement actually came very, very abruptly, I wasn't ready to leave the Air Force. I miss my airmen. But you know, when life throws a bunch of curveballs and you just got to do what you got to do, right? So I retired for my family, my children specifically, because it was just, we were just having a lot of adjustment challenges and stuff with my teenagers. And, you know, they've been dragged around base to base, you know, my entire career and all that type of stuff. So it was time to actually hang it up. So I do have 3 boys. My children are 7 years old, Max, and then 13 is Damon, and 16 years old is Darius. And I also have my mother as my dependent. She lives with me. She's been living with me since 2008. She's like really my own family here in America. I'm the only child. I don't have any other siblings, and my cousins and the rest of my families are still in the Philippines. I've got a few families here and there here and in Canada. You know, most of my family are actually in the medical field, doctors, nurses, and all that type of stuff. That's just how we were kind of brought up, you know, in the Philippines. Education was drilled into you. You know, they did not leave you alone. Your parents did not leave you alone unless you got education, college, and did something, because they really thought that, you know, once you get those education and get those stuff squared away, you know, you're going to be able to stand on your own feet and actually have your own family. So anyway, I don't want to share too much of my, well, actually I might, because I really want to put my story out there, because there could be someone out there who could be struggling, or who could have had the same story as me. And I'm hoping that, you know, this could empower some of the women out there who has gone through some challenges. So a lot of the people, gosh, I'm gonna get emotional. A lot of the people probably would not expect challenges coming from me, because I'm just always energized. I'm always just like this. Like every time I talk to people, I am just very, very, I just love people, you know. I love to talk to people. I love to get to know people. I just love interacting with people. And every single chance that I get, when I can pull something out from people or give wisdom to other people, it just freaking makes my day really, really great, right? So, but just my story. I've been married twice. My first marriage, my 2 older kids are from that first marriage. And that marriage was about 7 or 8 years long, but I was a battered wife. I went through a bunch of domestic violence stuff in that marriage. I'm a very selfless person. I always put others first before myself. And that's probably how long I lasted in that marriage, because I was always putting others first, and I was thinking about my children, how they would grow up if we got a divorce and all that kind of stuff, right? So, but one day, you know, when I really had a bad incident, when I got beaten up in front of my children, and my mom was actually there. Damon was only maybe 6 months old then, when I went through with that horrible incident. And then my mom was begging my husband then to stop, you know, beating me or whatever. And then when I got a chance to actually dug out, because I was pinned down on the bed, you know, getting chokehold and everything, that's when I just freaking kicked him, and then went outside and ran on barefoot a couple of blocks over, you know, just to get away. I left my kids there with my mom, and I went to my friend's house, and that's when she called 911. And she basically was the one that woke me up, because it's other incidents before that, but I just like didn't do nothing about it. I was scared to say anything about it. I was scared to, like, this is going to impact my military career and all that stuff. So I just suffered in silence, right? So, but my friend, Tanya, she actually was the one that told me, if you don't do anything about this, the next visit that I'm going to make to you was either to the morgue or to the hospital, and you're in vegetable state. So after that conversation that we had, when she took me to the battered women's shelter and stuff like that, it woke me up. And that's when I pulled the trigger and said, you know what, it's time to go. It's time to go. But anyway, fast forward, my relationship with my ex-husband now is great. You know, we have one of the best co-parenting relationship out there and stuff. He's changed and he's learned from that behavior and all that kind of stuff, right? So anyway, so I am coming from a relationship where it wasn't hard. You know, it's hard to breathe sometimes, and I'm going through a lot of stuff right now, actually. I don't even know why I started this way. I told myself, you know what, I'm just gonna let the spirit move me, because I don't know how to unfold my story, but there's like light at the end of the tunnel of this sharing my story to you. Okay, so when I retired from the military, 23 years, for the first 3 months when I retired, I suffered severe depression. I was in a hole. I was in a black hole, because first I didn't know if my decision was right. I didn't know if me leaving my career, leaving my airmen, I had a hard time leaving my airmen and doing it for the sake of the family, if that was really the right decision. So for 3 months or more, maybe, you know, I was in Orlando and we were nowhere near a base, so we were just isolated. It was just totally different environment for me. I suffered from depression. I mean, you didn't see it in social media or anything like that, because I was good at hiding it, but I was so empty inside. I could not find value in what I did every day. I woke up feeling empty. I woke up just like drained, like, what did I do to myself? Like, I was looking for the day to get up, you know, when I go to the office and I know that an airman is waiting for me or somebody needs my help or whatever. And after the military, that's one thing I can say, they don't do a very good job transitioning you over, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that's out there who separated or retired from the military is probably feeling the same way that I'm feeling. Anyway, but transitioning over from that is when I actually found, you know, Arbonne, right? You know, so if y'all heard my story already, you know, I stalked Ashley for 9 months, right? So I don't even know Ashley Strong. I've never met this chick. I don't even know who she is, whatever. I just knew that she was a friend of one of my greatest senior NCOs or NCOs in the military. One of my military training leaders, Michael Stevens, was hanging out with Ashley Strong, because they were all like 12 Outstanding Airmen of the Year kind of crew, right? They're freaking rock stars. So, and I'm like, who is this chick? So I friend requested Ashley, and I'm just like, what the heck is she doing? Like, you know, what's all this stuff that she's been posting? And then, you know, I just followed her journey quietly, right? And then I would harass her, direct message her, and ask her tons of questions about Arbonne, and I'll ask her all the freaking ugly reviews I heard about Arbonne, and then I'll ask her, well, can you explain this and that, and all that stuff. Like, for 9 months, I freaking tortured Ashley, right? So I don't even know what intrigued me about Arbonne. I don't even know what it is. All I remember, I heard about that name before, but I just never really looked into it, right? So fast forward 9 months later, you know, when I was going through this retirement gaps, this void, this emptiness, this vacuum that I was feeling inside, you know, one day I just woke up and I'm like, you know, I think it's my calling, you know. And after I've studied Arbonne and the community, the freaking culture, the giving culture, the passion to like really truly change the world, it's struck me so hard, right? So I was telling myself, you know what, maybe this is the transition that I need. Maybe this is the company. This is my calling, right? Because I'm already into health and wellness, and I'm like, this is a good time to transition over and really put forth all the effort that I know about health and wellness, and be able to help people out, right? Because I was already helping people out with my other fitness coaching business before I was introduced to Arbonne. And one day I just woke up and I told her I'm ready. And then she's like, all right, you know, are you just gonna buy some stuff? And I'm like, no, I'm ready. I'm like ready to be a consultant. So I signed up, right, and stuff. And you know, I just didn't know what I was doing. I didn't even know. I told Ashley, I said, girl, I said, I don't know you, but for some reason my heart is telling me that I could trust you, and I'm gonna go with that risk, right? And I even really literally called it a risk. And I'm like, and I told her, I said, girl, if this ish don't work, I'm freaking, I'm gonna try to find you. Because she told me, it's like, okay, let's go. You know, all you gotta do is find me like 17, 18 people to join your challenge and stuff, and then, you know, you'd be good to go. You can launch your business that way. And I'm like, okay, I can find 17, 18 people. That's easy, right? So, you know, when I started advertising it or whatever, hey, I'm joining the challenge, blah, 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 who else want to get in with me? And then next thing I know, I think my first challenge, my very first challenge, I didn't even know what Arbonne was. I don't know what I was doing, but I got 30 people signed up, right? 30 people signed up in 5 days. And Ashley hit me up and she was like, did you know that you just got promoted to district manager? And I'm like, oh, okay, what is that? What does that mean? You know, because I didn't even know. I have no freaking clue. I haven't even gone through the getting started info on the Pretty Nation website and all that stuff. I was like, this is freaking too much. I'm not doing this stuff. I'm not reading all this stuff, and I'm not listening to all these calls or whatever. Ain't nobody got time for that, even though I had nothing else to do. I'm like, I'm not listening to that stuff. She told me find 18 people. I'm finding 18 people, and that's what I did, right? So and then long and behold, right, district manager, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So what do I do next? And then I just keep finding people. So I got promoted to district manager in 5 days, right? And then Ashley was like, oh my God, I can't. And so everybody, I guess I was the new kid on the block, right? And everybody was like, who the hell is this chick? Whatever, you know, getting promoted to district manager in like 5 days and stuff like that. And then I just kept on going, and I'm just like, okay, I'm freaking digging this. I like this. I like how I feel and all that stuff. And I just kept posting, just posting. I'm telling you, freaking excitement trumps knowledge all day, every day, man. And then you know what I had to do? And I'm like, I was telling my clients, man, my clients didn't know. I didn't know what's going on. My clients didn't know that I didn't know what Arbonne was all about. But guess what? I was freaking riding that train, though. I'm not saying, I guess I was faking the funk, you know, until I made it, right? Until I understood it. But I was not afraid to say, you know what? I don't know what's going on, but I know who knows. I know somebody who knows how to do it. And my coach is going to be here right by my side to kind of help us all out, right? So I was truly transparent with them that as far as say, hey, I'm with you. I'm having the same experiences that you're having. I'm having migraines. I'm having the bubble guts, whatever, right? You name it. So, but, you know, truly blessed that, you know, they were able to hang tight. And those clients from my first challenges, they are still in my team, either as an upgraded consultant or as a loyal client that keeps ordering, right? So I kept doing what I had to do because that's all I knew. That's all basically Ashley was telling me, hey, you know what, you just got to keep changing lives. We have challenges every, you know, twice a month and all that type of stuff. And next thing I know, that same month that I made district, I was just doing it. I mean, I was signing people up like crazy. That same month I made district, I think that was 1 August or something like that, I finished area. So I think by 1 September, if I'm correctly, if I remember it right, yeah, I made area manager in 1 month. So now I'm telling you this not to try to brag about it or anything like that. I'm just kind of like telling you how my timeline has gone and me achieving all those milestones without me even knowing what the heck was going on, because my focus was changing people's lives. I freaking absolutely had this freaking crazy addiction to receive those text messages, to receive those DMs or whatever from my clients saying, oh my God, girl, you have saved my life. Look at me, look at my pictures. I lost X amount of pounds this week, or my freaking medication is no longer, you know, needed, or whatever the case may be, right? So those intrinsic feelings that you get once your clients who trusted you, who took the leap of faith with you, and they start telling you how you've changed their lives, it's freaking the best feeling that you can ever feel in the whole wild world, right? I'm not even thinking about volume. I'm not even thinking about, I didn't even know how, you know, what type of commission or how much that was worth, right? I mean, every single month, I didn't know how much I was going to get paid because I freaking didn't understand the whole thing, right? Because I don't do public math, but I just know that I'm getting something. I just didn't know what it was. But my focus really was on my vision and really filling that gap, that void, that emptiness that I had when I used to help my airmen out every day as a chief. I got that from Arbonne. I got that from Arbonne. And so I just kept grinding. I kept doing my activity, whatever, you know, whatever strategy that's been tried out there, whatever strategy that our NVPs and everybody else that's put out there, I've followed them. I did what I was told. And when I had no's, I didn't care. I'm like, whatever. Initially, I'm just like, oh my God. And then when I finally start getting consultants signed up, and then I'm looking at my numbers and I'm just like, well, dang, you know, and I'm like, why'd you even sign up if you ain't going to do nothing, right? You know, so I quickly separated my emotion from that, because I quickly figured out that, you know what, just because they said that they loved Arbonne and they want to do this with you, people are kind of funny that way, right? Because what they say is not necessarily what they're going to do, right? Or it's not necessarily what the same behaviors they've been telling you, right? So you always got to really watch or really kind of test them, because they could say, man, I'm ready to grind. I want to be like you, or whatever the case may be, right? And the next thing you know, ain't nothing. Ain't no activity, no nothing, and all that stuff. So, but that doesn't mean that, all right, I'm just gonna freaking ignore whatever her name is or his name is or whatever, right? No, that is not a good strategy. I know you'll hear a lot of the NVPs say that you have to match your effort to the activities that your consultants actually show, not say, right? I agree with that wholeheartedly as well. But coming from where I came from and not knowing what I was doing in Arbonne, it is pretty intimidating, because especially if you, I mean, I was already a coach prior to this, but if you've got clients that turn into a consultant, obviously when they were your clients, right, they needed help. They were seeking some type of change in their lives. They don't have their health together or whatever. And then now those clients that you just changed their lives became a consultant. That doesn't necessarily mean that they have the same amount of knowledge that you might, you know, when it comes to health and fitness. So a lot of those people, just because they love Arbonne and they become a consultant, and then you know, you're like, man, dang, they're not even freaking doing nothing. That is not necessarily the case, that they're lazy or whatever it is. But what I do, and I try to tell my tribe, you got to put forth more than one effort, right? Or even 2 or 3 or whatever, because sometimes people, we are all different, right? Sometimes those people are just kind of like, you know, sitting back, just watching, because sometimes when you go into a new environment or you go to a new job or whatever the case may be, your personality or your real you doesn't necessarily come out right away, right? You kind of like, you know, sit back, pull back a little bit, watch what's going on, and then you kind of just strategize on how you're going to execute your plan, right? Because sometimes that is the case. But sometimes, hey, they're just freaking like living dead for real. Like they're just there, right? But what you do as a leader, though, that I can tell you has worked for me, because sometimes people are kind of funny like that. They're going to just try you. They're going to test you to see what kind of leader are you. Are you that type of leader that's going to reach your hand down and pull them up? Regardless if you've asked them once, twice, or hey girl, how you doing? Let me help you launch your business, whatever the case may be, and you got crickets. Guess what? You don't just shut down and just leave them alone after that, right? Still check up on them, because sometimes they're kind of funny that way, because I've had so many different behaviors I handled in a military, you know, as a leader and even as an instructor when I used to teach. But sometimes they're just kind of watching you to see, okay, how much effort is she willing to do to try to pull me back up, or to try to pull me up to where she's at, right? And then after like a few times and they're just like non-responsive, and you know what, you kind of put them in the back burner for a little bit, right? Because you've got other people, you've got hustlers on your team that's probably starving to get your mentorship, to get your coaching, to get whatever it is. So you got to focus on those people because they're the ones ready to freaking change lives, right? And then all the other ones could be just like, hey, you know what, I want to watch right now because I am not ready to get out of my comfort zone. And that is okay because it is going to happen. It's just a matter of time, right? So, you know, like where I'm going with this is the fact that, you know, after all the noise out in the streets about, hey, who is this ND chick, you know, getting promoted, you know, and all that kind of stuff so quick, I tell you what, comparison is the death of joy, y'all. Comparison is the death of joy. So it is good to see different milestones being reached by different consultants or different people on your team. But at the end of the day, I want you to focus on your own race, right? Because whether you're going freaking fast or not, or whether, hey, you know what, you're going medium or whatever, but sometimes slow and steady wins the race, right? The fastest one doesn't necessarily always wins the race because sometimes, you know what, something could happen. Life could throw them a curveball and then boom, next thing you know, they stop working their business, right? Because you just never know. But what you can do, what you have control is your own path. What exactly is your vision? You cannot focus on you know what, I'm gonna get promoted, I'm gonna try to like be an MVP by this day, whatever. Yeah, visualize all that, that's great. But if that's your only focus, it is gonna be a rough freaking time, a rough journey for you to get there because you've lost focus of your vision, your why exactly you're doing this, right? So you know, a lot of people can't help because that's human factor element. We're all wired that way. We're all wired to freaking be jealous, be envious, be whatever, right? But what I can tell you, those freaking feelings are there for a reason. The devil is always working, y'all. The devil is in the freaking works, working overtime. So if the devil is working overtime, what are you doing about your business? Because your business ain't gonna grow if you focus on the left or on the right, or hating on your upline because she getting paid with the work that you're doing, right? And I tell my people this all the time, and I'm like, heck yeah, man. I'm like, yeah, you will have that feeling, but you can't get caught up in that feeling. I'm like, you cannot hate on Ashley because she's our upline and she's making this much money. She freaking ate dirt. She ate dirt for 3 years, okay, before she got this fat ass check that she got last month, right? Or the check that she's been getting for the last 3 years. And I'm like, you cannot absolutely focus on that. What you can do though, and I'm like, Ashley, like I told Ashley when I first started, I'm like, I want to see your check. I want to see your check. I want to see if this is the real deal. I joined like 12 July. I asked Ashley, I want to see your check. Show me your check, right? So she showed us her check in August, right? And I was just like, oh, word? I said, you made that much money? And I'm just like, okay, I can dig with this. You know, I can deal with this. And I'm like, even though, not, you know, if anybody tells you that making money or trying to be financially free is really, you know, I'm not really focused on that in life, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm content where I'm, they're freaking lying. They're lying because financial freedom creates that life that you want to have, right? And I don't care what other people say about, you know, well, you can't just focus on money. Yeah, we're not focusing on money. If you focus on your vision and if your heart is really right, that you truly want to make a difference in this world and want to change one person at a time, the freaking money will follow you. That is just like the icing on a cake, right? But you can't freaking eat the icing before, you know, you actually put in work. I tell them all the time, you have to eat dirt. You cannot have no freaking cupcake right away. It just don't work that way. You know, you have to eat dirt and you got to follow through. You got to keep showing up because ain't nobody else going to show up for you, right? But you just hope and pray that the consultants that you signed on, the people that you invited to your team is going to be inspired by your work ethic, that they are going to basically, you know what, I want to freaking be like you one day. Monkey see, monkey do all day, every day. So whatever you're displaying out there, the behaviors you're putting out there, how consistent you are, how persistent you are with really working your business, that is so freaking going to inspire your team because they're going to be like, well, dang, She's freaking working it. I don't want to be the one that she's going to reach out to, hey, how your business doing, right? Because I do reach out to my people and just kind of check up on them. Because at the end of the day, you know, sometimes people are all the way in the business. Sometimes they're not all in, right? Or sometimes they're like freaking one toe is in, not whole foot, just one toe is in, right? But you just gotta freaking like crack that door a little open and say, hey, the whole foot can come in now. Or if the damn door is not open, go around the damn house, the chimney, the freaking damn window. There's always opportunities and other methods to kind of get in there, right? And then you just gotta find what exactly is the niche for that specific individual, for that consultant that you're trying to groom, right? So, you know, like my journey has been great, you know, so I made district really with no district. I think I had one IC, but she didn't really do nothing. When I made area, I did not have any district then or nothing either. I think I still had that one, or maybe I had 2 or 3 that signed on, but they just signed on as a consultant then. You know, I actually want to give them a shout out. You know, my freaking ride or die since my first challenge is basically Sheila and Steve, right? Who are now pretty much my freaking, you know, area managers in the team. And then fast forward later, so we made region qual, I think in March, right? And April, and that's when we finished region. So 8.5 months into the business, I could not believe it. I mean, I visualized it every day. I had it on my vision board every day, but my focus was, hey, you know what, every month, and I tell my team this every month, hey, our focus this month is to change these many lives. Nobody in my tribe talks about QV, right? We only talk about QV if we have to break down how many exactly did they need, but we break it down by lives, like, you know, and then focus on them, focus on your team getting promoted, not you. Focus on them getting promoted. You gotta groom them. That is the success of this business. You cannot thrive on your own. I freaking tried that because I mean, I had no other choice because I didn't have nobody, you know, with me then. You know, yes, you can do it probably up to area to make area manager and meet all the volume requirements and all that type of stuff, but you ain't gonna make it on your own past that, right? So your focus should be, even as just a district manager, if you just made district, or even just a new consultant, you need to you need to right away think about growing your business wide, right? And then you can grow them as wide as you can, however you want, and all that stuff. And then at the same time, you know, getting people to change lives through the healthy living challenges as well. Don't wait until you're a district manager or an area manager, and then now you want to start thinking about, okay, maybe I'll start asking people for to join my business as a consultant. No, because by that time you're going to be struggling because you're way behind the power curve, right? So I want you to know that there is a method to the madness, but that method is really up to you, right? I know I'm kind of like all over the place, but I'm just so passionate about building this business and building this team and kind of like putting it out there as far as what I have tried and what has worked for me. But at the end of the day, real talk, for you to be able to be successful in your business, it all starts with you. You cannot depend on nobody else. You have to keep showing up like you're getting paid $100,000 freaking a year from this business, because if Amazon hired you and offered you, hey, you know what, I'm gonna give you $100,000 business a year, right? $100,000 salary a year. I need you to work 6 days a week from freaking 8 to 5. You'll be like, hey, sign me up, right? But you don't realize the freaking opportunity that Arbonne presents to you. We don't even have no cap. It doesn't even have to stop at 100,000. You can go freaking, I mean, look at Cecilia Stoll. I don't even know how much she makes. I know she makes a lot of freaking money. I just know that being the #1 Arbonne income earner, right? You cannot put a limitation on you, especially if you know what you can do. Or sometimes, you know what, you got to get past that mindset, because sometimes your mind is going to stop you or restrict you or basically box you and not allow you to realize exactly what your abilities and capabilities of doing. You got to freaking crawl out of that box, man, because you're not going to know. You're not going to be able to really feel or know exactly what you can do until you go out there and try it. You have to go out there and try it. Yeah, ain't nobody like freaking sales, right? I don't like sales. I mean, I never thought that this is gonna be like, all right, I never really thought about, okay, I'm selling products. All right, I got that part. But what I'm trying to focus on, I'm about to sell you an extraordinary experience. I'm about to, sell you the freaking healthiest version of you. And then it's just a matter of like fixing it, or not fixing it, but basically shifting that mindset. I'm telling you right now, the hardest battle that we actually experience as a human being in this entire world. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you make millions of dollars. I don't care if you're, just picking up garbage or whatever. The hardest battle that we will ever face is the battle of the mind. If you're not right up here, there is freaking absolutely no way you're going to get to whatever milestone, if you even get to set a goal, because it all starts here, right? That's the hardest battlefield is in the mind. You cannot go in that battle with freaking nothing on. Nothing. You cannot. You're not going to win without you getting ready for it. You got to put your armor on. You got to be ready for all the obstacles. You got to be ready for the impact, whether that impact is positive or negative. You got to be able to prepare. But it's all what goes in here, the body follows and everything else follows. What goes in your thought, it creates what your future is going to look like. So if your thoughts are filled with negative, you wonder why. Have you ever met those people that talk about they're always broke and they just don't have no money? They just live in paycheck to paycheck. But if you really analyze them and how their thoughts are and how they actually live their life, that is why. Because those negative thoughts never left their mind. So their behaviors follow those negative thoughts. That's why their life is so negative and they can never freaking get out of it. So you got to shift your mind first. And that's the hardest battle when we're trying to get clients, when we're trying to get consultants. I'm telling you, nobody wants to get sold to, right? But what you got to be is to try to connect with them and try to check where their mindset is at, because that mindset is going to kind of tell you exactly how they're going to be able to either thrive or not thrive in this business, right? So, if you can get that mental mind shift, that mental shift in your own, I will promise you that your life will freaking change. Just watch your life unfold. When you start right here and you start shifting that mindset, you need to leave that scarcity mindset. You have to have that abundance mindset all day, every day, because we are in the business to change the world. The world is so big. You cannot freaking hate on so-and-so who done stole your client, or so-and-so supposed to sign up with me and she done sign up with somebody else or whatever. No, you cannot. Because what you need to focus on, all right, great, that's great that person is about to get their lives changed or whatever, right? And then there's always a reason why they didn't sign up with you. Maybe that person is not the right person to be on your team, or whatever the case may be. Just don't focus on that stuff. Move on to the next one, because there's so many people in this world that basically need our help, right? So you just can't focus on that. Abundance mindset all day, every day, and just watch how your business grows and how your life is going to change. So, I'm so passionate about it. I don't even know how long. Oh my God, I've been talking for 38 minutes. Shoot. All right, so I need to kind of close this out. But real talk, y'all. My journey with Arbonne has been such a blessing. I used Arbonne as my distraction, as my, pretty much a huge distractor for me as I was going through my transition from the military. I just hope that it was going to work out and that it ended up being such a huge blessing. Even though a lot of people did not really see the real optics of what was going on in my life, for instance, I'm going through a divorce right now. And yeah, I'm about to get into my second divorce, right? In May, actually, when I was at my first GTC and I was getting, excited about, getting honored as a regional vice president and all that stuff. But nobody knew that I was going through some stuff. I cried myself to sleep at GTC every single day, because that is when my husband, that same day, that same week, we got at GTC was the same time that my husband basically told me that I'm no longer in his priorities, that we are no longer compatible, our personalities clash, and that he couldn't do it anymore, and he was not even trying to work it. Okay. So I was going through that stuff during GTC, but nobody knew, right? Because I had to put my face on, even though I was drowning inside. I was drowning. I was hurt. I was very hurt because I didn't know that was gonna happen. I mean, the last year of my life has been really hard, walking on eggshells, around the house, not knowing what to say, what could trigger an argument. I have no idea, right? So that stuff happened while I was in my first GTC, and only a few people knew. I mean, of course, Ashley knew because I had to tell her, because my heart was so heavy that I couldn't even focus. I almost didn't make it to our nation party. I almost didn't make it to a lot of the events, but I had to freaking pull up, man. Because sometimes, queens, you gotta pull up, because of, even though life throws crap like that at you, and there's nobody else right there with you, you have to freaking pull yourself up, because nobody else will. And then if you try to let yourself drown, nobody else is gonna know that you're down there. So you gotta freaking dig deep. And your why has to be so strong, because the devil is going to try to get in your head. I've thought of so many things, right? I was suicidal before. But when you know you're stronger, there's so many of the freaking crazy thoughts that's out there that the devil is going to try to instill in your head. You have to freaking fight back, okay? You have to be able to say, you know what, not today. Not today, Satan. You're not going to get me today, right? Because nobody else is going to give you that pep talk but you. Nobody else. You can have all the friends that's surrounding you, but not everybody is going to know exactly what you're going through, because you're not going to be able to share all that all the time, right? Because sometimes you're going to be embarrassed to say that. But I can tell you, though, now that I am past that. I am ready to start a new chapter in my life as a single mother. I've always been focused on my boys, and it's time to focus on me, right? To get myself right, to maybe become a little bit selfish and put myself, make myself a priority sometimes, right? So, but nobody knew. But regardless, I was still showing up for my business, right? I was still showing up for my business, even though May was the hardest month for me, the toughest month in my life. But everybody thought that I was just, man, everything was just going so well with me in my life, because that's all they saw, and all the successes that was happening. It was so tough, but I'm so grateful that I have a team of rock stars that helped me pull together, that the business still thrived, because that same month we actually qualified, half to nation qualification that month as well. I was so proud of my team. But my last words to y'all is basically, just imagine you're driving, pitch black, right? Pitch black, you're driving, you're by yourself, just driving. And your only source of light is your headlight, okay? And you can only see the road that unfolds probably maybe 200 feet. What I can tell you, if you look at life and focus on just what you see in that 200 feet that you see, because it's so pitch black out there, it's so dark, because the world is dark, right? You have to be able to create your own light. If you focus on that 200 feet of light that's in front of you, and you can still feel your heart beating, you ought to be grateful, and you got to count your blessing, because somebody is depending on you to make a difference. Okay? I want to just let you simmer on that, focus on that. If you focus on life that way, you're going to be good. You're going to be good, man. And then one more thing that I want to share with y'all is, as we go through life and as we reach obstacles and the successes, you have to be able to remember that it's the titles that you keep, not the ones that you borrow, that are the most important. Okay, so if you've earned the title of a mom, if you've earned the title of a dad, if you've earned the title of whatever, right? Those are the most important than the titles that you borrowed as an RVP, as a national vice president, as a chief master sergeant, as a senior master sergeant, or whatever position that you've borrowed from where you're currently at. Those don't freaking matter, because they will disappear as soon as you quit that job, or as soon as you retire from the military. You're not important. You're not going to be anybody. Okay. But what matters is how you keep those titles that you've earned and how you take care of them. Okay. And then last thing is the fact that success is not all about money, not all about cars or whatever materialistic things that are in this world, right? How I define success in this life is how you make others feel valued. Okay. You have to focus on that. You have to, whether you just put a smile on your face to somebody because you just do that, you don't know if you just saved that someone's life because you smiled at them or you asked them how they were doing, right? It's not all about all this stuff. The success is all about how you make others feel valued, okay? Please focus on that. Please focus on changing lives. Make your vision as big as you can, but focus on how you can leave that legacy that you made this world a much better place, okay? Don't focus on all the other material things, but if you focus on how you can make a difference in this world and how you can change lives one person at a time, you are going to be okay. Your business is going to thrive, and the universe is going to pay you 100 times more than what you can expect, okay? It's all about giving. It's all about being kind to others, and it's all about truly making a difference. So that is all I have. I am so sorry for being so emotional about this whole thing and for going too long. This is just how I am. I just get so passionate. But thank you so much for listening today, and thank you for seeing my ugly cry. But I am so humbled and grateful that I am able to share my story with you and how I was able to thrive despite of all the craziness and all the buffoonery that was happening in my life. I love you so much. Let's keep showing up for everybody, and let's keep changing the world, y'all. I love y'all. Thank you so much for listening.